Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Up Next. Man, let him come back with another video. Hey, man, say, man, look. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. Y'all know we fuck with O'Shea Duke Jackson over here, man. Make sure I go support him. She celebrated K Samuels, and now she's broke. Let's hop straight into it. Let's get it. Let's go.
Has gone viral again, even as a person that is no longer living. His clips resurfaced about 2 weeks ago when he predicted the end of Tracee Ellis Ross and that she would be only dating younger men. Tracee Ellis Ross showed up to Michelle Obama's podcast and said exactly the same thing that Kevin Samuels did. And people are vindicating him, even from the grave. But it's interesting. There are more Kevin Samuels haters that are suffering right now, even after dissing him. Now, we all know about the famous Vivica A. Fox. Vivica A. Fox is one of the most notorious Kevin Samuels haters of all time, especially when she dissed him soon as he passed away.
To me, it was a shock jock. And, you know, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, you know, the fact that he killed over real quick and was supposedly with a woman that we don't yet know the nationality, rest in peace.
And on that same stream, you even had Lisa Ray.
But I agree with Vivica. I think that sometimes when you are trying to help, it got to come in a kind of way, because we're your kind. We are your type, meaning we're Black. You know what I mean? And we are family, you know what I mean? So when you talk to us, because we as a race have been through so much, and you know, it's almost like talking to us like this does not help us.
And of course, these ladies are no longer on Fox, so meaning their whole show died. And to be honest, Kevin Samuels by himself was more impactful than this entire super team of Claudia Jordan, Silena Johnson, Lisa Ray, and Vivica A. Fox. But there was another person that had a lot to say that day, Claudia Jordan herself.
I think just because someone passes on, it doesn't mean we just, oh, now we can't say anything negative or honest about you. That's okay, you died. Guess what? Every single person in all these squares and everybody watching is going to die. So we can't be held accountable for the things that we said while we were alive. Listen, I think he has some very valid points. I think people are very unrealistic about relationships. I think a lot of women and a lot of men are. It's not a woman thing and it's not a man thing. But he just so happened to pop when he started coming for Black women, because he did start off being negative towards Black men, and people weren't really trying to hear that. Brothers weren't trying to hear about themselves, but what they were trying to hear about was how it's the women's fault.
Interesting.
So then he blew up, and then our dumbasses went and supported him. You know what I mean?
Again, this happened exactly when Kevin Samuels passed away and Marlon Wayans.
I often joke that I'm retired, but in reality,
a statement in the defense of Kevin Samuels. And so they were basically recapping his life and how they didn't like the fact that he was so harsh towards Black women. But Claudia Jordan didn't stop there. She actually said something probably more offensive than the other ladies on the stream.
I think there is a place for people like Kevin Samuels to say, listen, you're being unrealistic. You have nothing you're bringing to the table, and you want this high value man, although Kevin Samuels himself was not a high value man.
So what she's saying here is Kevin Samuels was not a real high value man at all. In other words, he's a fraud, or he's fraudulent. It's very interesting, because if you looked at the tenets that it took to become a high value man, you must add value to others, which Kevin surely did. You must make over $10,000 a month for over 2 or 3 years, which Kevin Samuels did. So according to his own definition, he must be included in that. I mean, it's biased, so he must be a high value man. And Kevin Samuels was indeed getting really rich. I talked to him personally, and there were times that Kevin Samuels could clock over $300,000 in a month, and none of those ladies could do that on Fox. So, but it's okay. Let's take Claudia Jordan's word for it. Kevin Samuels, according to her, was not a high value man. So then the argument must be that Claudia Jordan would certainly consider herself to be a high value woman. And at least the men that would want to date her would be high value men as well, right? Well, Claudia Jordan, what do we have here? It seems that I've been doing a little bit of investigation, and somehow I accidentally came up across a particular clip that Tasha K had. Now, if you guys don't know, Tasha K and Kevin Samuels were indeed, I would say, not close friends, but really close allies. He would check in on her and she would do the same thing. So Tasha K didn't really have a whole lot of issue with Kevin Samuels, especially when he was brave enough to come to her podcast, which he obliged. And he did that even though it was somewhat of a harsh or difficult interview. He still did the same thing. But we're not mentioning the fact that, you know, this lady here, who was supposed to be a high value woman, she's having some issues. In fact, there is a person that is exposing her on Tasha K's podcast for allegedly doing this.
What happened with Claudia? Why she call you a scammer, but she hit you up? She just bought a house. She just bought a house not too long ago.
But she had property here in LA that she was renting. So the girls who would hit me up and be like, hey, David, I need this done. I need this type of paperwork done. And, you know, I'm all for helping the girls who got bad credit or got criminal convictions or whatever they got going on, get housing.
So what did you do for Scratchy Cat?
Baby, I did some bank statements. It was right in this video, in this picture. We had met up, and Annie right there, and that's Tamar, and that's Claudia.
What you put on the bank statement? What you took her from a what to a what? What you made it look like she made?
I made her look like she had a couple of $100,000s in her bank account. And I hit her up on Instagram. I was like, girl, all that you talking, you act like you don't remember what you asked me to do for you. Them bank statements I did so you can qualify for those apartments when you first got on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. That apartment in the high rise. And you know, that's Kenya homegirl and everything. But baby, don't sit there and throw stones in glass houses, baby.
Now, this gentleman is named David Cunningham. Now, of course, what he just admitted online is actually crazy. It probably can get him some years in the feds. But he said, listen, he helped falsify bank statements for Claudia Jordan, and there are even pictures of them together because Claudia Jordan has terrible credit. And because Claudia Jordan has terrible credit, she was unable to purchase a house. He had to help her do because Claudia Jordan didn't even have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. That's crazy because Kevin Samuels used to have hundreds of thousands of dollars just sitting on his PayPal. He hadn't even checked it at certain points. But this is a woman saying that Kevin Samuels is not high value, but she don't even have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. So you need somebody allegedly to falsify bank statements when you can barely even have a house, but somehow you have the audacity to call somebody else a non-high value person, but at the same time, your ass is broke. By the time that Kevin Samuels died, he was making so much money hand over fist, it was ridiculous. I can justify it. I know, all right? He was making so much money, he couldn't even spend it all. But here you have Claudia Jordan playing basically a backup role on Fox Soul who can barely pay her own bills. And it's crazy because the women out here who are always so upset at the message of Kevin Samuels are always the women that he was talking about. You know what the old saying is, family? If it don't apply, what? Just let it fly. When I hear women talking about dudes are broke, dudes are bumming, dudes are lazy, dudes don't want to do anything.
Kennesaw State University now offers only one of two.
Dudes don't want to take care of women. Hey, I don't get upset, and the reason why I don't get upset is because, well, they're not talking about me. Now, when people talk bad about black men as a whole, aka Cynthia G, then of course that is something that would upset me, but Kevin Samuels went out of his way to clearly identify what type of women that he was talking about. And unfortunately, those who are chronically single and can't get a man, like your Vivica A. Foxes, like your Claudia A. Jordans, like your Lisa Rays, all had a problem with it. Now it's interesting, Silena Johnson, who was the only woman on that podcast that was married, had some level of problem with Kevin Samuels, but showed him the most sympathy. And the reason why she did is because she's a married black woman and understands what he was trying to get across. But you have these people like Claudia Jordan who have to falsify bank statements, and Claudia Jordan is for sure damn fine and for sure attractive. But the reason why that needs to be the case is because it's simple, guys. Nobody wants to put up with Claudia Jordan. I know that must hurt your feelings, if you will, but nobody is sitting up here saying, oh boy, you see Claudia Jordan, boy, she's so fine. I tell you, boy, Lord Jesus, ooh, look at that light skin in this over there, boy. I want to go ahead and marry her. She got a nice attitude. I sure would buy her a new house, boy. If I saw her in these streets, boy, ooh, I'd take that girl to Baskin Robbins, boy. I sure would.
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
Hell to the no. Don't nobody want to put up with Claudia Jordan.
All right, y'all. I think that's enough, man. I think that's enough, man. I think we get it. Shout out to O'Shea, man. O'Shea doing the overkill, man. Next video.